Welcome back to the One Line Away podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tyler Weber.
And this is Cassie Weber.
And on today's episode, we got to change up. On today's episode, we're going to be having more of an interview style. There's a bunch of questions that you have not seen.
I have not.
And I'm going to be interviewing her about our fertility journey. And I think it's going to be some raw emotions. I'm very interested after just getting these questions and kind of just looking over them. And I'm like, wow, this is going to be a fun but deep conversation. I don't think we've ever had an interview style where one of us is just on the hot seat. And I would say hot seat in a good way. I wouldn't even say in a bad way. But a lot of these are going to get us to think. Some of them have been answered, but I think we're going to go more into depth. So I'm very excited. Are you ready?
I'm ready. But before we get going, I do want to pitch that this means roles are reversed in next episode. Mm-hmm. So you can look forward to that. In the next episode, we will be reversing the roles and I will be interviewing Tyler. So this is going to be a good foundation into the next couple of episodes.
All right. Well, let's get into it. So can you share when you first had the feeling that something might not be working? Like, when was that first initial, oh man?
I feel like our journey, the best word I can use is it feels kind of peculiar, mm-hmm. because we didn't know, or I didn't know what we were getting ourselves into until I was quite literally on the door to death. And that seems a little extreme, but it is my truth. When we started, we got pregnant on the first try. And I think if I roll it back, I guess I could also say arguably that we did go in because I was experiencing bleeding, and that was my cue that something wasn't right, because a quick Google search was like, hey, if you're bleeding when you're pregnant, you probably should get checked. So I didn't know anything about the world. That was like day one. And unfortunately, we were misdiagnosed and not taken seriously with any ultrasound, any follow-up, any blood work. That story is quite triggering it'll be the rest of my life, because at the end of the day, with all of our journey that we've been through, I can't help but feel like something in my body changed the moment that ectopic came.
You say that 4 years in, but did you notice right then and there that it was going to be a different and something changed in your body, or has it just been like through the process where you're like, now I'm putting it together?
Yeah, I definitely feel like that whole thought process has been a later thought process, because it's not that I've been looking for an excuse or an answer, but I kind of have, right? Because we know people who have experienced unfortunate losses, and their stories, a lot of their stories have not looked like ours, which is great. But for us, it's really hard. It's hard for me to find hope for us, because it's worked for everyone else, which is hard to say. But yeah, we've walked through watching bird's eye view other people's journeys and having happy endings very quickly after a loss of any type. And though, of course, like, you want that for everyone, for me, I can be sad for myself. Like, I am 100% allowed to feel the way that it makes me feel, which is really sad for me. Mm-hmm. So
no, you kind of what rolled into my next question here, which was, during the beginning, was it hopeful, and like, were we stressed out? But I mean, even from like my point of view, when we first started, it was we like didn't even, in my mind, I didn't even know what half the stuff that we talk about on this podcast is, right? Like an ectopic pregnancy. I didn't even know what that was.
No, I didn't either.
But like, how hopeful were we when
We're
we
very
first started?
hopeful.
Like at the beginning, I remember we were just
Innocent.
over the moon.
Yeah, I remember it feeling so la la land, which a lot of people get to experience that, which is so cool for them. But for me, I think if I were to put who I was 4 years ago, I had every reason to feel hopeful and excited and happy that I felt like, you know, our journey didn't define us at that point. I felt like we went through something very traumatic and very terrible, but it was like pushed into my brain, which I guess is false positivity or, you know, innocent positivity that, oh, you should get pregnant right away. You're young. You have no issues on paper. Your testing comes, like everything was checked off in science and in hope and in all ways. And it just really stinks that we've failed to, or I don't know, it's so hard to like word it like that, but like version me then versus version me now is so different. Completely different people. My heart is so much different, and unfortunately it's not because of things that are good.
I gotcha. Well, I want to get into the emotional side of it, because that's a big part, right? A lot of the comments that we deal with are, I would say, you know, a lot on the emotional side, where people reach out and just say like, I needed you during this time, I needed you during this time. There's a great question here that I am actually really excited to ask. What were there moments when it felt like it was too much? Like, what kept you going? I mean, obviously, there's the generic question or generic answer to that one of just like getting your miracle baby, but there has to be like certain steps, right? Because that's just like, hey, I'm on the 1 yard line in a football game. What kept you going? Well, the other end zone. Well, there's still 99 yards there that you still have to get through, right? Like, what kept you going?
My stubbornness. That's the first thing that came to my mind was I'm not a quitter. I don't give up. Mm-hmm. And if I want something, I've lived my life where if I want something, I will do everything that I can to get that. And infertility and loss has been the one thing in my life that has beat me and won. So I think that definitely changed my brain chemistry, where it's not that I lived my life feeling invincible, but it's very much so like if I look back at all the things I've done or all the things I've wanted or all the things I've accomplished, it's because there's this inner drive in me and believing in myself and loving myself. And all of that was torn down with infertility and with all of our losses. It totally changed who I am and how I looked at myself.
What emotions came up that you didn't expect?
In what areas of the journey? General?
I'm gonna say like, I like how you answered that when you said the first thing that came to your mind. So I would say that like, what emotions, whether it was during your ectopic or during IVF or anything in general, what emotions came up that you were like, whoa, didn't expect that one?
I don't know if this sounds good, but in my heart, I feel like fear is a big one for me, because I don't think I feared getting pregnant, or I never feared the risks of unsuccessful or high risk pregnancies were. I think fear is just something that you don't want to go. I don't think it's healthy to go into something with fear, but I've also now feel like fear has driven me in so many other areas of my life that like I can go back and forth with that. So I don't know. I definitely feel like fear is one of those that came on that I wasn't expecting, just because unfortunately everything that has come and gone our way has been like just worst case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think there's many feelings like hopelessness. That's something that I was very hopeful for the first couple years. And I think because we just never really got back above water, or we just never really got anywhere with everything that we gave and everything that we did, I would say now I'm living in a place where I'm trying to find a true way that I can heal my heart and heal my brain, in hopes that it will positively affect getting pregnant in any form. But hopelessness, I would say the second half of our journey so far has awoken this hopelessness that maybe this will never happen for us. And that's hard.
Yeah. No, it is. No, keep going on to the difficult topics. This next question is something where I want you to think of it not just from like the dark moments that you've had during it all, but like an overall experience during it, or overall feeling towards it. So it's, how has it changed how you see yourself? So like it's a deep one, I know it is, but like I said, there's moments where it was, you were in very dark moments, but there's also moments where I felt like it brought us closer together. So I just want, like, how would you overall say like you see yourself?
I don't know if this is just a today feeling. Oof. I feel tattered.
Tattered, explain that.
I feel like out of all the good and out of all the bad, it's like, think of like a tattered baby blanket, and think of how much comfort that blanket gives someone, or a baby or a toddler or an adult that holds on to this like very precious item. If you say that I'm that tattered blanket, you take something that's so comforting, but you also look at it and it looks dirty or ripped or disposable. I think that's how I feel with this whole journey into this moment. And that's sad, because that's definitely a drop the veil answer. Yeah.
That one's deep. That's a deep question, dude. So this next question, it's kind of deep. Not as deep as the last one. But did you ever feel pressure from doctors, family, or even me?
Yes.
All the above?
All of the above.
Okay.
Do I need to expand on that?
Duh.
I think the pressure that came from you was more like self-made. Like, so I wouldn't say directly you were pressuring me. I would say like I was one that was pressuring you into like when I wanted to start doing different treatments or start doing more, whatever it was. Like, I feel like there is always like more, I would say, pressure coming from me onto you. I would say I just felt like this, like I've felt in ways that the pressure from you has been self-made out of like, but I want this to happen because I want it for you too. And that's like it drives you, but it also wears you out as well. So I would say for you, that's kind of how I've felt. Family wise, pressures, it's weird with family, because it's either like someone who, I mean, it's all, for me, it's like all where it comes out of from the heart. And with family, I think we've gone through many different waves with different family, and there's been highs and lows in all of them. And I think it just is like that pressure of, it's like the societal pressure, which goes into the family pressure of like, getting to go to functions that you feel like you can actually celebrate one, like wholly, or you can be celebrated fully. And so I don't know. I mean, even like there's been like pressure of like pump the brakes, Cass, because of my mental health when it was really, really bad. And that's hard. I think it's taken a lot of time to see some of the pressures as better intention than how it felt in the maybe the time or the moment. And then I'd say for medical, the whole process has felt like pressure to advocate for myself, or pressure to give them the results that they want, the financial pressure. Like with medical, it's felt like one of the heaviest weights for sure. I would say.
Okay, I want to go into a relationship side of it.
Okay.
Because it's been, I mean, we've made it through so far. That's a tough one.
I know.
Because,
it's a serious one. I think people don't understand, like...
If you look at the statistics, it's...
Not good.
Not great. So, I want to just know, this is going to be kind of a broad question, and you can answer it quickly, but how do you think infertility has affected our relationship, good or bad?
Good and bad. Both. It goes different ways depending on what you're talking about or referring to. But I would say standing like hand in hand now, like if you look at like where we've been and where we've come and where we are, I would say it's been good. But ultimately, it's unfair for a relationship to go through the things that we've gone through. And I understand why people don't make it out of this turmoil or out of this season of life. And I understand, because there's very real discussions of like, okay, well, if this isn't working, like, I mean, there's so much you can be selfless, you can be selfish about the situation, but it's like if someone's really wanting a child and say it's a known, either say we were in a position where we knew one of us had an issue, it's like, would one of us be selfless enough to say, I want this for you so bad that you like set yourself free and go find someone else that can give that to you? Or do you look at it in a way that's like, if someone's ready to adopt and someone's not, there's a very real conversation and very hard to talk about topics when it comes to that, because they are very touchy and very private. So I think overall good, but I have like a PS to that, and it's like, I wish we hadn't gone through the things that we've had to go through, because I know that we've been stalled in other growth areas because of this journey.
Yeah. This is for us, and I also want it for people out there that are going through kind of in the same boat that we are. How can we grieve the hard parts together and still find joy in our life now?
For me, I think if I've learned anything about what we've been through, especially in the sad parts or really bad parts, is to allow you to grieve in whatever way you need to, because it's looked very like grieving between Tyler and I has looked very different. And if you have the expectation that they need to grieve at the same time or grieve in the same way, you are setting yourself up for turmoil. And I feel like you have to allow yourself to be sad sometimes. But I think where I misstepped, especially and I would say both Tyler and I have misstepped in areas of our journey in different times of not listening to our bodies or listening to our hearts to balance out when enough is enough, because we've both been in dark places that we both probably never thought we had the capability of getting to. And so I would definitely say, like, do not let anyone tell you how you are supposed to grieve.
Finding the joy, even during those dark times, may just be something as simple as like playing a board game.
Yeah.
I mean, we played cards, I think, or like during our dark moments, and that felt like going out and doing something.
Yeah.
To us.
I will say something that I would do differently now is not saying, like, we forced ourselves to show up for things that we probably could have saved ourselves / relationships or people around us, save them from seeing us in that way, or us not realizing how much damage we were doing to ourselves.
Yeah, especially to ourselves.
So it's just, there's just nothing that you can do perfectly, and there's going to be regrets no matter what. But I would say the joy part, I haven't really thought about like what actually like got us through up until this point. I would definitely say like getaways in any type of way have been very healthy for us, whether that's going up and doing like a staycation or actually going and traveling. There's just also that issue where money does get involved into a journey like this if you are seeking treatment in any type of way. So I feel like you have to tread lightly with that, because in a perfect world, yeah, you're able to do that whenever you're checked out. But in an imperfect world where we find ourselves at more than ever, you have to find ways to experience that same feeling just in a different way. But I do think getting out of, even though our home is our safe place, or like the repetition of our routine throughout the week is good, you also, like, I do find peace and relief in getting out of our normal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, with kind of rolling into the others, you brought up, others and putting ourselves in those kind of situations. During those moments, especially from the beginning to now, how do you think, like, what's been the hardest thing to hear from people? And it's kind of a two-parter. How do you deal with it now versus 3 years ago? Like, because obviously we've realized, or we've gone through a lot of different techniques that have allowed us to be able to cope with that. Yeah. But from 3 years ago, how do you specifically? I
would say something that has continued to haunt me into our journey now was hearing, I think I remember when it was first said to me, but then when other people also, like, in a roundabout way said the same thing. But I think what was like hard to face was when, like, people who truly know me or care for me or cared, or past tense is irrelevant for some of this, is like the comment of, in some way of not knowing who I am, like looking at me like I am this horrible human, or however you want to see it. But I think that's what's haunted me the most, is the comment in a roundabout way of like, because of this journey, it's stolen who I am as a human or as a person. And when someone tells me they like, I don't even know who you are anymore, it's like, that's a very haunting feeling to work through. And so, though there's truth to it, and I definitely, like, there's so much truth to that, it depends on how it comes across, and if it's used in a violent way or if it's used in a way of like opportunity to heal. And I have experienced both. It's been a way to treat me like a punching bag, and then there's been ways where it's been a way to have better reflection and healthier conversation. So I would say now I don't know. I would say that now we are in a position where I think that we're actually bringing more health into our lives than ever, whether that's been with friends, family, or each other. I do feel like people are more understanding. So it's like I'm not being faced with so much of that type of tension. So
if you could choose one thing, what do you wish your friends and family better understood about infertility? One thing. I know there's a list. But if there's like the top priority, like, I wish you guys understood this.
I would say that it's really hard to watch people's lives go forward while ours is stagnant. I think if I could like scream that to the rooftops or scream that to the mountaintops, I would say like just like a friendly reminder or like a constant reminder is like being sensitive towards like your life pressed go and has pressed forward. And I have been stripped away from that in this season of my life. And I don't care if maybe someday 4 years doesn't seem like forever, but right now it does.
Yeah.
And it's stolen so much of our youth and years that, you know, you could better spend, arguably. And so that's what I would say that came to my mind. That's very loud is that.
No, I like that. Okay, how do you feel when you think about the future now?
Stressed.
That's a good answer.
That's hard because if I've learned anything about this journey is that you straight up do not know. And my biggest fear is that we will end up nowhere after all of this. And that's very scary. I think there's been things placed in our lives that has saved us both in different ways. And I'm very grateful for that because anything that has happened that has been good, it's like tenfold for us. You can be rewarded. Like, I feel like being rewarded in life before our journey would be great and all, but like when we are rewarded now, it's so much bigger or it means more because it's been a season of life of being beat down to a pulp. And so, I would definitely say because of the things that have, you know, been happening as of lately, it makes the future feel at least more fruitful because I feel like I have a reason to keep living. Whereas maybe 2 years ago, I couldn't see any type of future.
Well, that goes into my next question. Like, what does a meaningful life look like to you after all this? Right? I mean, that you're kind of going into that already.
Yeah.
So I wanted to throw it in there because I think it's a good question to ask. I think it's a good question to ask, not just for our listeners, but I think for ourselves. I think that's like, you know, like, what is a meaningful life, right? We thought we would have a 4-year-old by now, but
many kids by now,
but we don't.
Yeah.
So we're obviously having to find meaning in other things, which we are, which is what you said.
Yeah.
But like, go into that just for a little bit.
I think a meaningful life, what that would look like for me, looking at that, like looking through that lens now, it's been simplified. And I think it's unfortunate that I've had to, like, I don't know, it's hard to say this, but it's like I still want all of the same things. But now I look at it through, I feel more careful at either the risks we take or the things that we do or choose not to do. I ultimately for me, I know that I've said this in some way at some point, but like, all I want now is to find peace with the journey we've walked in and through. And I just want inner peace in myself. And the state of this fight or flight that I've been in has been so grueling. And so a meaningful life looks almost like how we've been able to mold it now. And I'm really grateful for that, because every day we have something that is at least, positively, hopefully positively affecting the people that we're spending our time around too. So whether that's committing to your hockey team or me starting my own business, I just hope that every step that we've taken or been granted, we get to see through to the fullest, because it brings us so much life. And that's just my biggest thing. I want to experience life again, even when we don't know when or if or however that looks.
Yeah.
With a baby. Child.
Yeah, so this next question just sounds exhausting when I read it.
Okay.
But bear with me.
Okay.
You're going to do another one of those deep breaths.
I can't. I already did. That was a big one.
What would you say to someone who's just starting this journey?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And sorry is such a terrible word. No. I think it depends on what that means. Meaning, did it start like ours, where you
were thrown into it abruptly?
Yeah. Or did you go into it carefully, into a journey like this, that you knew maybe something was off or something was wrong, and you are working through, combating that? I don't know. I feel like if you do just categorize it all as one, I don't know, if there was a couple sitting in front of us that, just experienced a loss, or they have been in this rut for years, I think I would say things very differently. If someone has kind of crossed the threshold where we are, I think you can drop the veil a little bit more, because you do have more of an honest. I go back to like the couple years where you have all of this hope, and you rightfully so should have that. And if you feel, again, I feel like I have dealt with two different couples in journeys. None of them are the same, but if I just try to categorize it, like, you have the ones that like really truly have that hope, and they have that innocence still in them. And then you have the other side of it, where it's kind of like us, where people aren't throwing out the, you're so young still, you have all the time in the world, or, oh, like, you'll get pregnant right after your loss, or like, there's so many things that people say when they just don't think that life will do you wrong. And it shouldn't, but for us, people kind of look at us dumbfounded now. Yeah. And so I do think that depending on kind of where you are in your journey, I would definitely take caution on being more sensitive towards that, because I don't want to instill any type of negativity or thought process that you don't need to have if you don't ever have to deal with it. So yeah, I don't know if that was a great way to answer that, but it's...
No, it was good.
Hard.
It is hard. It's a hard question.
Yeah.
But going with that theme of a couple right in front of you, what do you hope people take away from hearing our story? And it's like specifically you just talking on all these hard questions today.
There's a few answers to this. Resilience and weakness can sit in the same room with strength. And I think if I were to want anyone who has never walked a journey like this, or are just, here to be a support for us or someone else in their life. Maybe it's their own daughter or their own son or whoever. I think the biggest takeaway is being a voice for the voiceless. One couple at a time, one person at a time can help shift that narrative. And literally, like one of our little slogans goes, is like break the chains of infertility and how you're treated in the journey or how you are perceived to the outside world. Like there's so much to it. And I definitely feel like that's a big takeaway that makes our journey feel worth more than what it's shown or not given us. I think this was really good. I think the episode will speak for itself. I hope that when we do upload it to the world, I hope that everyone that listens to it takes someone's vulnerability and respects it, because it is really hard to drop the veil. And unfortunately, with our journey, we have experienced people taking our vulnerability and making a weapon out of it.
Yeah.
Or knowing how to hurt us. And that's been something that has consistently happened. And that's a risk that I will always take, because our story, the right people will find it and the right people will respect it. So yeah, I think that's also a reminder to everyone too, that like not everyone will see it or get it or respect it, and that's a them problem.
No, I agree.
And if they want to take your voice, your vulnerability, and use it for their advantage, or use it to their advantage, or use it for them to find power over you, that's disgusting. And I have dealt with that as of recently, and I think that it says a lot about someone's heart.
Yeah.
You do. There's a lot of surprises that come in a journey like this, whether whether they're good or bad. So, yeah. No.
Well, I'm going to close her out. I kind of have a little bit of something prepared for this one.
Cool.
I just feel like, this was our very first interview.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, granted, it was just
we've
between us.
We've done questions before, but not.
We've done questions, but not a full-fledged interview. Talking about infertility, it's messy, it's emotional, and it's incredibly personal, as we all know, right? We're going down questions that bring us back to our darkest moments that we've mentioned a lot, but we've said this a lot. It's been healing in our own way.
Yeah.
And I love every bit of it. To you, thank you.
You're welcome.
This was awesome. I know it's sometimes it's hard, and I think when I mentioned that, it's going to get emotional, I didn't think you really believed me, but I think it happened pretty quick in the interview, which maybe I should put that question a little bit down farther, but thank you for being vulnerable with us and sitting here. I want to just put this between you and I. Like, this journey hasn't defined us, but it has shaped us. I think that's big to know, right? Yeah. That it's not who we are, but it has molded us a certain way. And I think we have changed. I think it has made us two people that are more aware of things like this. And I think it has also reached and helped us care more about people. Definitely. Which is big for us. Because I think during it, in the beginning, we lost that. Oh, yeah. And, being able to talk about it has really helped us heal that wound, which is big. So definitely, if this episode resonated with you, we would love to hear your guys' comments on anything about it. Yeah. But other than that, I think I'm good. So thanks for listening, guys. Bye, guys.